What's up, guys? It's Flossin. So, with the recent drip marketing of our next upcoming agents, Yuzuha and Alice, I've noticed a lot of people seem unsure about who to go for. And now that I've had some hands-on experience with both Yixuan and Jufufu, I wanted to sit down and give you guys a little bit of advice that could point you in the right direction. So today, I'm going to walk you through both our current and upcoming agents in Zenless Zone Zero. I'll break down what makes each of them shine on their own, and also share my thoughts on how pulling in this game is slowly becoming less about the agent and more about the entire faction. If you guys find this video informative or just enjoy it at all, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's completely free and lets me know that you enjoy this type of content. Now, with formalities out of the way, let's talk games. So, let's start with Yixuan, half because she's the big anniversary agent, and the other half, well, the other half's pretty big, I'm not gonna lie. Yixuan is our first Rupture agent, and that alone is her biggest selling point. She introduced the new Sheer Force mechanic, which allows her to ignore all enemy defense, and that's wild. But it also means she's a bit less compatible with agents we already have, like Nicole or Rena, because the debuffs they provide don't do anything for her. What makes Yixuan really appealing though, is how forgiving she is to build. She has a dedicated 4-piece set, and her damage scales off of her HP, which opens up more flexible stat paths. On top of that, she can also solo a ton of content, similar to Miyabi. Now that said, Yixuan is a bit of a diva. She wants the spotlight. She's a greedy on-field agent, and any teammate who tries to steal the stage is going to interrupt her flow. So if you're trying to build around her, you want to make sure that your supports enable her playstyle. If you already have her, or even if you're still deciding, I'd say she's a fantastic pickup if 1, you're in need of ether DPS, or 2, you're interested in learning how Rupture and Sheer Force works, and you're willing to build a team around her. Currently, I've been running her on-banner characters, Pan Yin Hu and Pulchra, and it's actually been one of my favorite teams to run in 2.0 so far. But speaking of supports for Yixuan, let's talk about Jufufu. This is where my opinion of faction-based pulling really starts to kick in. Jufufu is our upcoming Fire Stun agent, and she's incredibly good as an off-field dazer and sub-DPS. I actually just did a full breakdown of her kit in a recent video, so if you want a deep dive, check that out after this one. But I'll give you the general rundown. So, when slotted in your team accordingly, Jufufu brings a huge crit damage buff, chain attack and ultimate damage boost, 300 decibels after an attack or Rupture agent ults, and she raises the overall decibel cap from 3,000 to 4,000. That is insane. And here's the best part. Jufufu is universal. Any agent in the game can benefit from what she brings to the table. She's not just for fire teams, she's not just for the Yingque Summit, she's just good. However, I do want to circle back to her synergy with Yingque Summit, because this is where things start to click. Since Yixuan ignores defense, what she wants is pure stat injection. Crit damage, ultimate damage, just raw power stats, and Jufufu provides that. Also, because Yixuan has 2 ultimates, Jufufu becomes a pseudo battery for Yixuan, helping her charge decibels even faster. So if I had to give pull advice here, you should be looking at Jufufu if 1, you really need a stunner, though I'm sure many players already have that covered since the game's been out for a while, or 2, you want to maximize your Yixuan. Now, I'm not saying Jufufu is required for Yixuan, but if you are someone who plans to use Yixuan long term, Jufufu is easily one of her best teammates. Add the panda to that lineup with his sheer force damage increase, and boom, full synergy squad. Now, let's talk about 2.1, because things are looking a bit spooky. Yuzuha and Alice, same element, same faction, one's coming right after the other. I wonder what this could mean. Yuzuha is a physical support, and there's no doubt in my mind that she's built to support Alice, a physical anomaly agent. This basically mirrors what we just spoke about with Jufufu and Yixuan. Yuzuha will probably provide strong utility for the overall anomaly roster, but she will most likely synergize best with Alice. Now, I've already heard people calling power creep because of what Alice is. A lot of people think it's over for Jane Doe, the rat is dead. I want to stop you right there and emphasize something we've spoken about on the channel. The same attribute and element in Zenless does not equal power creep. If anything, this gives us, as players, more team variety. Think Astriao and Nicole. Although they're both ether and support agents, they actually serve different purposes, and even work well on the same team. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Jane actually ends up synergizing with Alice. If Alice's kit includes proccing multiple assaults, she could benefit a lot from Jane's core passive that makes assault damage always crit. But just like many of the agents we've seen in the past, we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, here's my personal pull advice for 2.1. Yuzuha is worth looking at if you've already been building up an anomaly roster. Or maybe if you're new and you lost a 50-50 on Yixuan and you're looking for something else, I think 2.0 should be the patch where you explore anomaly characters so you can go into the beginning of 2.1 with a strong anomaly support, that being Yuzuha. And after learning what anomaly does and provides to your team, you could even pick up Alice for that extra synergy she's gonna have with Yuzuha. But overall, if you're really interested in these characters, then I highly recommend skipping patch 2.0. Honestly, I really think Hoyoverse is nudging us to pull with factions in mind. We saw it firsthand with Miyabi and Yanagi, Astra and Evelyn, and even Ambi with Trigger. And I kind of like that. It also gives us players more breathing room to an extent, because we can focus on planning around an entire faction versus the usual banner cycles we saw in version 1.0. It gives each agent more identity, and it makes the idea of building teams more strategic. But of course, not everyone has the pulls for that, or the luck. So I wouldn't stress if you don't get both. This is more of a forward-thinking kind of guide, especially with more characters like Seed and Orpheus on the horizon. And since they're a part of the Defense Force faction, you can probably expect to see this duo synergy show up again. But yeah, I think that's enough yapping out of me. Guys, I think Zenless is showing us that it's trying to actively move away from running characters outside of factions. Whether that's Jufufu enabling Yixuan, or Yuzuha enabling Alice next. The signs seem there, and it's hard to ignore them. So, because of all these synergies we're seeing within factions, this whole thing has me really curious. What do you guys think? How do you feel about faction synergies in Zenless Zone Zero? Do you like them? Hate them? And who are you pulling for out of these 4 characters? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like down below. It's completely free and lets me know that you enjoy this type of content. Until next time though, happy gaming, and may your pulls be ever in your favor.